to Deep Sleep Stories. If these stories have helped you through restless nights, please leave a review. Reviews are what help this podcast grow, reach more listeners, and stay alive. Without them, even something meaningful can slowly disappear. So if this show has brought you comfort, that small act truly helps keep it going. Now, settle in, and let's begin.
Welcome and settle in with Deep Sleep Stories, where the world softens at the edges and your thoughts can slowly drift like feathers on a quiet breeze. Tonight you'll follow the gentle comfort of a cat's nap in a sunroom, where warm light and slow shadows turn an ordinary afternoon into something tender and dreamlike. You're allowed to rest now. Let your shoulders loosen, as if warm hands are smoothing away any tightness you've been carrying. Let your jaw unclench. Let your tongue rest easily behind your teeth. If your brow is furrowed, imagine it smoothing like fabric eased by careful fingers. Take a slow breath in through your nose, cool and clean. Hold it for the smallest pause. Then breathe out, long and unhurried, as if you're releasing a sigh you didn't know you needed. Again, breathe in, gently, patiently, until your ribs widen and your belly rises. And breathe out softly, letting the day slip away bit by bit. You don't have to solve anything. You don't have to plan. You don't have to keep watch. The room around you can blur into comfort. The sounds that reach you can become part of the distance, like a far-off tide that has nothing urgent to say. In your mind, a quiet home waits. There is a sunroom at the back, a place where daylight collects like honey. The air there always seems calmer, as if the house itself is exhaling. Imagine the feeling of stepping into that gentle brightness, your feet meeting a floor warmed by afternoon. Imagine the faint scent of clean wood and soft cloth, and the subtle sweetness of plants nearby, the kind that carry their own quiet green perfume. Breathe in once more, and as you breathe out, let yourself arrive. And now, as the story begins, you don't need to hold it closely. You can let it unfold at a distance, like watching leaves drift along a slow stream. The mind can loosen its grip. The listening can become effortless in that calm house, in that sunroom filled with peaceful light. There is a cat. Her name, if anyone spoke it aloud, would be Mallow, soft as a cloud and nearly as quiet. She is not large and not small, but she carries herself with the simple confidence of a creature who knows she belongs exactly where she is. Her fur is the color of toasted cream, with pale stripes like the faintest brush strokes of caramel. When she moves, she barely seems to touch the ground, as if her paws know the secret of silence. It settles on a low table where a cup sits. The cup is a pocket of warmth. The windows are tall and the glass holds the day like a clear bowl holds water. Light pours in without effort. It glides over the floorboards. It settles on a low table where a cup sits forgotten, the last hint of steam long gone, leaving only a trace of tea in the air. A plant stand waits by the window, gathered with pots and trailing vines. Leaves tilt their faces toward the brightness, unhurried, satisfied. A fern unfurls a fresh curl. A small citrus tree grown indoors and pampered through colder months carries glossy leaves that shine as if they have been polished. Somewhere in its branches, a tiny bud holds the promise of a future bloom, but it is in no rush. Nothing here is in a rush. Mallow stands at the threshold of the sunroom with the solemn purpose of a pilgrim arriving at a shrine. She pauses. Her whiskers twitch. Her ears angle, catching the gentle hush of the home, the faint tick of a clock. Somewhere deeper in the house, the soft, settling sounds of wood and walls, the distant friendly murmur of the world outside. Outside, a breeze drifts past the glass and stirs a wind chime hanging under the eaves. The chime answers with a few delicate notes, bright but not sharp, like tiny pieces of music dropping into place. A bird calls once, then quiets, as if remembering the day is meant for resting. Mallow steps forward into the light. The sun touches her fur and makes it glow. Along her back, each hair seems edged with gold. She turns her head slowly, letting the warmth land on her cheek, and her eyes narrow to contented slits. If she could speak in human words, she might say, "Yes, this is exactly right." There is a long cushion by the window, set on a wide bench that runs beneath the glass. The cushion is covered with soft fabric, faded just a little from years of sunshine. A knitted throw rests there too, loosely folded, holding the gentle scent of laundry soap and thyme. This is Mallow's favored place. It is where the sun reaches first and lingers longest, as if it knows she is waiting. But before she settles, there are rituals. She makes a slow circuit of the sunroom as cats do, as though inspecting the perimeter of comfort. She brushes the side of her face against the leg of a chair, leaving behind an invisible mark. Hers, but not possessive. More like a quiet greeting. She rubs her shoulder against the corner of a basket filled with soft gardening gloves and seed packets. She pauses at a pot of lavender, inhaling with a tiny, delicate sniff. The lavender does not bloom much indoors, but its scent is still there, faint and soothing. At the edge of the room, a small patch of sunlight has settled on the floor, perfectly shaped like a rectangle cut from the day. Mallow steps into it and stops. Her paws sink into warmth. Her body relaxes by degrees, like a ribbon being unwound. She stands there for a moment, letting the sun seep into her bones. Then she moves again, because the best warmth is not only on the floor, the best warmth is higher, closer to the window, closer to the light itself. A small circle, then another, as if a small circle, then another, as if stirring herself into the softness. Her tail curves around, then stretches out. She tests the spot with her paws, kneading slowly, pressing down and releasing, as though the cushion is made of cloud and she is shaping it into the perfect nest. The knitted throw catches lightly on her claws, but it doesn't mind. It has been loved and pulled and warmed and used, and it has become the kind of object that is happiest when fulfilling its purpose. Mallow lowers herself, first her front half, then her hips, then her head. She tucks her paws beneath her chest. She becomes a small loaf of sunlit calm. For a while, she simply watches. The sunroom is a theater of gentle motion. Dust motes drift through shafts of light, slow as snowflakes. Leaves sway slightly when the breeze finds a crack beneath the window frame. Shadows shift in tiny increments across the floorboards. A quiet dance performed all day, every day, and never repeated exactly the same way. Mallow's eyes follow a mote of dust, floating, turning, glimmering for a moment like a tiny star. It drifts close, then away. Her pupils widen and narrow with sleepy interest. Outside the glass, the garden rests. Even the flowers seem calmer in this light. The stone path curves away through patches of green. A bird bath sits in the shade, water surface smooth as glass. In the distance, trees hold up their branches and let the breeze comb through them. The world beyond the window is alive, but it is not demanding. Mallow's ears rotate once, listening. Somewhere a door in the house clicks softly, perhaps from a draft. The sound is small and it fades quickly. She decides it is nothing. She returns her attention to the warmth. Her mouth is closed, her chin resting in a soft, gentle curve. She shifts just slightly, letting the heat reach a new part of her side. Her whiskers relax. Her mouth is closed, her chin resting in a way that makes her look as if she is smiling. Though cats do not smile the way people do, still, if contentment could be seen, it would look like this. Soon her breathing deepens. In and out, steady as a lullaby. The sunroom holds a kind of quiet magic, nothing dramatic, nothing that would startle or shine too brightly. It is the magic of small comforts gathered together, the magic of warmth that asks nothing in return, the magic of a safe place, a soft place, a place where time stretches like a cat in the sun. As Mallow settles deeper, the boundaries of the afternoon soften, the bright edges of light blur, the air becomes thick with ease. And somewhere between waking and sleeping, the sunroom begins to feel slightly different. Not changed exactly, but revealed. It is as if the room has always had a second layer to it, a gentle shimmer just beneath the ordinary. Perhaps it appears only when someone is quiet enough to notice. Perhaps it appears only when a cat begins to dream. Mallow's eyelids drift down. Her eyes close fully. Her body becomes heavier, as if the sun itself has draped a warm blanket over her. And in her mind, a dream opens like a door that doesn't creak. In this dream, the sunroom is still the sunroom. The windows are still tall. The plants still gather along the light, but everything is a little more luminous, as if the world has been polished. The dust motes are no longer dust motes. They are tiny lanterns, each one carrying a soft glow. They float through the air like friendly fireflies that have forgotten how to hurry. The shadows on the floor are deeper and gentler, like pools of cool water. The sunlight is warmer, thicker, almost like liquid poured across the boards. Mallow is aware in the dreamy way of cats that she is both asleep and not asleep. She can feel the cushion beneath her and the warmth on her fur, and yet she is also drifting through a world made of the same things, only softer, kinder, more willing to become a story. A breeze moves through the sunroom, though the windows are closed. It is not an ordinary breeze. It smells like outside, like damp earth and crushed leaves and the faint sweetness of distant blossoms. It passes over Mallow's whiskers and makes them twitch. And it carries with it a sound like gentle water running over stones. The plants rustle as if they are whispering to one another. Mallow's ears flick, but she does not wake. She is too comfortable. She is exactly where she needs to be. In the dream, the sunbeam on the bench widens slowly, as if it is making room. It spreads out in a welcoming shape. Not a rectangle anymore, but a soft oval, like a nest of light. It seems to hum, barely audible, like the quietest note held for a long time. Mallow's paws curl. She stretches, not moving from her spot, but stretching inside herself, loosening the last threads of wakefulness, letting them fall away. Somewhere in the dream sunroom, a tiny bell rings. The sound is so gentle it could be mistaken for imagination. It comes from near the plant stand where a small ceramic pot sits with a trailing vine spilling over the edge. The vine in the dream is more than a vine. It is a green ribbon that seems to shimmer with its own subtle light. And from beneath its leaves, a small figure peeks out. Not a person, not exactly, but something like a sprite made of leaf and shadow and soft sun. It is no bigger than a teacup. Its face is indistinct, like a suggestion of features. It watches Mallow with respectful curiosity, the way one might watch a sleeping queen. The sprite does not speak. It does not need to. In the dream language of the sunroom, meaning travels through the air without words. It says, "She is sleeping well." And the plants answer with a soft rustle that means, "Yes, she is." Mallow's tail tip twitches once, as though she has heard the conversation through the membrane of sleep. She is pleased, though she would not describe it as pleasure. She would simply continue being. Outside the dream window, the garden looks both familiar and enchanted. The leaves on the trees shimmer like scales. The bird bath reflects not only the sky, but something deeper. A sky behind the sky, a calmer blue that feels like a promise. A butterfly floats by, but it is not exactly a butterfly. It is made of pale light, its wings like thin paper, illuminated from within. It drifts past the glass, pauses, as if bowing to the sleeping cat, then continues on. Mallow's breathing remains slow. Each inhale gathers warmth. Each exhale releases it back into the room. The sunroom seems to breathe with her. Time in this place does not march. It drifts, it sways, it curls up beside the bench and closes its eyes. The dream deepens. Mallow finds herself walking, though her body remains curled on the cushion. In the dream, she steps down from the bench and pads across the floor. Her paws make no sound. The floorboards feel warm, like they remember the sun. She moves through the room with slow confidence, as if she has all the time in the world, because she does. Near the far corner where a small rug lies with a pattern of leaves and vines, the shadows have gathered into a shape, an archway made of darkness and coolness. It is not frightening, it is restful, like the shade beneath a tree on a hot day. The archway seems to invite her. Mallow pauses in front of it. She sniffs the air. It smells like moss and stone, and the quiet places behind gardens where ferns grow and dew lingers. She steps through. On the other side, she is still in the sunroom and also not. The light is dimmer here, a soft twilight that feels like the moment just before evening truly arrives. The air is cooler and it carries the sound of distant rain, though no rain falls. In this twilight corner, the plants are taller. Their leaves reach upward like arms. Some of them glow faintly at the edges, tracing their shapes in pale green light. Between two pots, a narrow path has appeared, lined with smooth pebbles that look as if they have been washed by a stream. Mallow walks along this path, her paws stepping from pebble to pebble, each one pleasantly cool. She passes a tiny pond that is formed where the floorboards should be, its surface perfectly still. In the pond, reflections drift. The sunbeam, the window frame, the suggestion of clouds. The water smells clean, like the first sip after waking. She stops at the pond's edge and looks down. In the reflection, she sees herself, but not only herself. She sees the warmth she carries, the comfort she radiates, the quiet gravity of a creature who knows how to rest. The reflection makes her seem like a small constellation wrapped in fur. Mallow blinks slowly at her mirrored self. Then she moves on because the path continues, and the dream is gentle but curious. Ahead, a soft glow pools on the ground, and within it sits a bowl. It is not her usual bowl. It is made of something like moonlight, pale, smooth, faintly shimmering. Inside is no food, no water, but something else. A deeper kind of warmth, the kind that comes from feeling safe. Mallow approaches and lowers her head. She breathes in. The warmth rises, not into her mouth, but into her chest, like a purr forming without sound. She absorbs it the way cats absorb comfort, without thinking, without effort, as naturally as breathing. The glow from the bowl dims slightly, as if it has shared what it came to share. The bowl remains patient, ready to offer again when needed. Mallow turns away, satisfied. The path leads back toward the brighter part of the sunroom, and as she walks, the twilight corner begins to soften, like mist dissolving in morning light. The glowing leaves fade back into ordinary green. the pond becomes floorboards again. The archway of shadow becomes simply the cool space beneath the plant stand. And yet, the feeling remains. A gentle, mysterious tenderness tucked into the ordinary. Mallow returns to the bench in the dream, though her real body has not moved at all. She leaps up with effortless ease and circles once before settling down. Now her dream self and her sleeping self align again like two layers of cloth smoothing into one. The sunbeam cradles her. The plants stand quietly nearby, guardians of green. The wind chime outside offers a note now and then, as if checking in. The garden beyond the glass continues its slow breathing. Mallow begins to purr. In the waking world, it is a faint vibration in her chest, almost too soft to hear. In the dream, it is a river of sound, low and gentle, flowing through the sunroom and into the corners of the house. It slips under doors. It wraps around chair legs. It settles on shelves. It hums in the air like a lullaby with no words. The house seems to relax in response. In the kitchen, a spoon in a drawer becomes still. In the hallway, a hanging coat stops swaying. Even the dust motes drift more slowly, as though they are listening. Outside, a bird settles deeper into its nest. The purr is not only sound, it is a kind of weaving. It stitches the moment together, making it whole. It stitches comfort into place. In that gentle weave, the afternoon continues to soften. The light changes almost imperceptibly, sliding toward a warmer amber tone. Shadows lengthen like lazy cats, stretching across the floor. Mallow does not mind the changing light. She knows, without needing to know, that the sun will move and the warmth will shift, and she will follow it if she wishes. For now, the warmth is enough. Her whiskers relax further. Her paws, tucked beneath her, feel like little stones warmed by sunshine. In the dream, the tiny sprite near the plant stand has returned. It sits on the rim of a pot and swings its legs, watching the sleeping cat with quiet admiration. It leans closer to a leaf and whispers something that sounds like a soft breeze passing through grass. The leaf trembles in reply. If the whisper could be translated into words, it might say, "This is what peace looks like." And the leaf might answer, "Yes, this is what peace feels like." Mallow's ears flick once as if acknowledging the compliment. The corners of her mouth soften. Her purr continues, a steady tide. The sunbeam shifts, sliding a little along the bench. The warmth moves from her back toward her side. Mallow responds in the simplest way. She rolls slowly, not fully waking, just adjusting. Her body turns like a slow planet turning toward its star. She stretches one front paw out, toes splaying gently, then relaxes it again. Her belly shows for a moment, fur pale and plush, inviting the warmth deeper. Then she tucks herself back into a comfortable curve. In the quiet, there is no need to be more than this. The sunroom holds its breath. The world continues but softly. Outside, clouds drift across the sky, and for a moment the light dims. The sunbeam fades, becoming a pale patch instead of a glowing one. The warmth lessens. Mallow's eyes flutter. Not open, not fully. Just a flicker under her lids, as if her dreams are shifting. The dimness might have been disappointing, but the sunroom is wise. It does not depend on one kind of light. It has other comforts ready. The plants, warmed by the earlier sun, release a faint, pleasant scent. The air stays gentle, the cushion remains soft, the throw remains inviting. In the dream, when the sunbeam dims, the tiny lantern motes brighten. They drift closer to the bench, gathering above Mallow like a constellation forming for her alone. Their glow is quiet, not enough to wake her, only enough to keep the sense of warmth alive. Mallow breathes in, and on the exhale, her purr deepens slightly, as if she's making her own warmth now, offering it back to the room. It is a reminder that comfort is not only something received, it is something created. As the cloud passes, the sunlight returns, spilling into the sunroom again. The patch on the bench brightens. The lantern motes fade back into dust motes, content to be ordinary. Mallow does not stir. She has already chosen sleep, and sleep has chosen her. The afternoon leans toward evening with a slow, graceful arc. The air cools by a whisper. The garden outside becomes a little quieter. The bird bath reflects a sky growing softer, its blue deepening. Inside, the sunroom becomes a place of layered comfort. The last warmth of sun on the bench, the gentle coolness gathering in corners, the steady presence of plants, the faint music of the wind chime, the slow breathing of a sleeping cat. Mallow's dreams become simpler now. No archways, no glowing bowls, no sprites peeking from vines, only warmth and softness. In her mind, she is floating on a calm lake of sunlight. The surface holds her without effort. The air above is quiet, with no sharp noises, no sudden changes. Her paws are tucked. Her tail is relaxed. Her whiskers drift like soft grasses in a gentle breeze. She is safe. The house around her seems to understand that this is sacred. If someone were to step into the sunroom now, they would naturally lower their voice. They would walk carefully, not because they must, but because the quiet invites it. They would see the cat on the bench, a small shape of peace in the light, and something in their own body would unclench in response. But no one comes. The sunroom is content to be alone with its sleeping guardian. As the light continues to shift, it lands for a moment on the citrus leaves, making them glow. It catches the rim of a ceramic pot and turns it into a halo. It warms the wooden floor until it seems to radiate calm. Mallow's breathing remains steady. In, out, in, out. Each breath a little deeper, a little softer. And as the world grows quieter, the story begins to slow with it, like a lullaby winding down. The sunbeam becomes less intense, more mellow as the day stretches toward its gentlest end. The shadows lengthen and blur. The dust motes drift lower as if settling to rest on invisible beds. Mallow shifts once more, a tiny adjustment, and then becomes still again. Her paws are tucked, her ears are relaxed, her whiskers lie softly against her cheeks. The purr is barely there now, more a feeling than a sound, a distant vibration, a memory of warmth. The plants stand quietly, their leaves no longer turning, simply being. The wind chime outside offers one last soft note, then falls silent, letting the air rest too. The sunroom feels like a pocket of peace held in gentle hands, and in that pocket, Mallow sleeps deeply and easily, as if she has always known how to do this perfectly. As if sleep is not something to chase, but something to allow. The air grows a little cooler, but the cushion holds the day's warmth. The throw lies nearby, ready. The room remains safe. Everything is calm. Everything is slow. And if the listener's mind is still awake in some small way, we can follow Mallow's steady breathing, like following a lantern down a quiet path. In, out. In, out. Thoughts can soften, muscles can loosen. The weight of the day can slide away like a coat set gently on a chair. There is nothing to do now. Only rest. The sunroom dims into a softer glow. The world outside becomes quieter, as if holding its own breath. The house stays gentle and still. Mallow sleeps on, her body warm, her dreams smooth and simple. And the feeling of that nap, safe, cozy, golden, spreads like warmth through the chest, like calm through the limbs, like quiet through the mind. Soon, even the story's words become less important. They can drift. They can fade, like light fading into evening, like a purr fading into silence, like footsteps disappearing down a hallway. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.